The all-new iPhone 11 base model comes with an A12 Bionic chip, so you can expect much faster performance on your daily gaming and other apps that you use, especially on the most demanding apps, maybe photo editing or 4K video editing. You should experience reduced time in editing 4K videos. You should also expect 20% better performance from the A13 Bionic chip, and you should also experience longer battery life. So those are the two main benefits from the new chip over the old one. The camera on the base model iPhone 11 is a dual 12 megapixel ultra wide and wide camera. So you have two cameras, one that's ultra wide and the one that's wide camera. So you can capture more in the photos that you take. So you'll be able to see more detail in the photos that you take. So by switching modes, you'll be able to take it will seem like you're taking two different pictures. The ultra wide has a f 2.4 aperture and 100-degree field of view, and the wide camera has a f 1.8 aperture. And the camera also has a 2-time optical zoom and a digital zoom of up to 5 times. Portrait mode with advanced bokeh and depth control. Portrait lighting with 6 effects: natural, studio, contour, stage mono, high key mono. The camera also features optical image stabilization for clearer photos and better photos while moving. The camera also features 5-element lens ultra wide, 6-element lens wide, brighter two-tone flash with slow sync, panorama up to 63 megapixels, 100% focus pixel wide. The camera also has a night mode. So when you take a picture at nighttime and you might think it might not be clear, it might be too blurry, switch to the night mode and you'll be able to take a much better picture, much brighter picture that'll be usable. So you could take a unusable picture if you did without night mode, and then turning on night mode, you'll have a usable picture. It has a next generation smart HDR for photos. So I believe it's an improved version of the HDR that was in the iPhone 10. You have wide color capture for photos and live photos, advanced red eye correction, auto image stabilization, burst mode, photo geotagging. Images are still captured in HEIF and JPEG. Now, switching over to the video, you can expect 4K videos to be recorded in 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, and 60 frames per second. 1080p HD video recording at 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second. 720p HD video recording at 30 frames per second. And the video camera also includes extended dynamic range for videos up to 60 frames per second. Video recording is also, and the base model iPhone 11 also includes optical image stabilization for video wide. The new feature, the video wide feature, so that features optical image stabilization also. Two times optical zoom and digital zoom up to 3 times audio zoom. Brighter two-tone flash, so you have a brighter flash that could help out in darker situations. You have a slow mode for 1080p at 120 frames per second or 240 frames per second at 1080p. So that should make for clearer photos in slow motion. You have time-lapse video with stabilization, cinematic video stabilization at 4K, 1080p, or 720p. So you can have extremely high video and have stabilization, cinematic video stabilization. And you have the continuous autofocus for video. iPhone 11 features ultra wide camera mode, so it allows you to capture 4 times more of the scenery. And what you'll see here is that it captures all 3 cars. You see 2 more cars popping up, something you would normally not be able to do with an iPhone. So by doing this, if you're at a location, you can show more of the people that are there. You can show more of the atmosphere. So people who are watching your video will feel more involved. What you notice about this camera is the smoothness of the video. You'll notice the focusing, the auto-focusing of the video also. You'll notice how it focuses on all three cars without losing focus. And that's part of some of the new improvements that's been made to the camera. And you can also zoom in, and as you zoom in, the audio zooms in with you. And you could even capture something else they could have done. They could have captured all three cars in slow motion, and then they could have featured slow motion, but the resolution would have had to have been reduced to 1080p. But it supports 240 frames per second at 1080p, which would have been something cool to see. And the cinematic video stabilization is something to help every level of photography.